Singles Inferno. It's a dating reality show in Korea, kind of similar to Love Island, but like Love Island PG. On that show, there was a female contestant, Song Ji-ah, and she was beloved by everyone. She was always decked out in name brand clothes. I'm talking Chanel, Hermes. I'm cheap, so I don't know names of these name brands because I don't buy them. Other name brands. And because of that, she rose to fame sort of as being a Harris, rich type person born with a golden spoon in their mouth. So in Korea, if you're born into a rich family, you were born with a golden spoon. If you're born with a dirt spoon, that means you're poor.
You poor.
She was so beloved by so many people because she was everything that people wanted to be. And a lot of people in Korea were said to have lived vicariously through her, fulfilling their rich fantasies through her. Until one day, hold up. That Chanel bag is fake. She's wearing knockoff. So wait, she's not Rich Harris? She lied to us? She betrayed us? She was canceled very violently. People were attacking her family, her friends. She lost sponsorship deals. Singles Inferno is also very popular in the West, so the Western people were like, why is everybody canceling her so hard? So it's no secret now that Korea is quite materialistic. There's a lot of articles and things come out about it. You know, a couple years ago, there was a global survey. They surveyed tens of thousands of people from 19 different countries. They asked the people, what things do you value most? In every other country, people valued family first. In Korea, everybody valued first material well-being. Koreans are also the world's biggest spenders on luxury goods, like by a lot. In 2013 alone, the amount of money people spent on luxury goods increased by 24%, bringing the total to $16.8 billion, which averages $325 per capita per person. These people be spending that money on these luxury goods.
Let it bounce.
And today we're going to deep dive into some reasons that I've sort of found out as to why Korea has become so materialistic. First, let's think about Korea historically. So historically, Korea is a very hierarchical place. Actually, it still is pretty hierarchical to this day. The hierarchy is based on age, rank, social status, etc. In the past, there were certain clothes that only people of certain rank and status could wear. In Korea, there's even different languages. You have to talk and address people a certain way based on their status.
High language.
Mid language.
Low language.
There's even hats in Korea called gat. It's like these traditional hats, and they have different shapes based on like rank, job, title, etc. If you were of a certain status, you were entitled to respect by other people. If you're a low status, then you're entitled to no treatment, and basically you're going to be treated as subhuman. And that sort of hasn't really gone away. It's just that the hierarchy is just based on how successful you are in society. And people determine that based on how many expensive items you have nowadays. Because when you combine that historical culture with like consumerism, what other way would you have to tell someone's hierarchy? We're not wearing fancy status hats anymore. So it seems like the modern day got is just wearing fancy name brand clothes, driving certain cars, and the level of respect that people have for people with money is just insane. They've even done social experiments where they took a small car, like a Kia Morning, this hundreds of thousands of dollars supercar, they took and they put them on the road and put them in certain situations to see how people reacted to the car. So they did 4 different tests. So for the first test, when people were parked on the side of the road and they wanted to go into traffic, the supercar, people behind them all stopped and waited and let them out every time. With the Kia Morning, they sped up so the Kia Morning couldn't go. The next test was that car was the first at the light. Once the light changed green, how long the car behind them would wait before they honked the horn. Now this is interesting because on one of the tests, the car behind the supercar was actually a bus. And bus schedules are crazy. And buses, if you've ever been in Seoul, them buses, because they gotta make them deadlines. The bus waited 10 seconds before they honked the horn. And then the other cars behind the Kia Morning, of course, they only waited maybe 2 to 3 seconds. In some cases, they honked the horn immediately. And when it came to turning right and waiting, of course, the people just sort of avoided the supercar and went around it. With the Kia, honk, 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 everybody's just, pushing through. And this one was the most interesting to me because it was when a car slowed down and going very, very slow. The people around the supercar literally like opened a path for them. I know obviously if you get in an accident with one of those things, the cost is gonna be really high, right? With the Kia, as soon as that thing slowed down, beep, 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 people's honking, going around, cursing them. So the driver that they hired to drive the Kia, they were sort of asking them questions, and they said they think people, when they see the Kia, think that they're sort of above you, so they have the right of way in that case. Even in driving culture, it exists. I think getting therapy is a really important part of leading a healthy and happy life. I've also gotten therapy before when I noticed I was starting to feel anxious here in Korea with motherhood. It can feel overwhelming here as a mom in Korea sometimes, especially with the long working hours and competitive nature of the surrounding children. It oftentimes feels like I'm alone with the kids and I'm taking on a lot. And therapy really helped me to deal with the stresses of motherhood in a foreign country. I think therapy is beneficial to everyone going through any sort of hard time to keep you in a positive mental state and to help you to be better able to tackle everything that life throws at you.
And that's why I want to talk to you today about the paid partner of the video, BetterHelp.
BetterHelp is a very highly reviewed online therapy platform where you can get the support and help that you need comfortably from anywhere, even your home. The steps are also very simple.
You fill out a questionnaire online, and BetterHelp can usually match you with one of their credentialed therapists within 48 hours.
Super fast. And from there, you can decide how you will communicate with your therapist. You can connect with your therapist from your computer, video chat, phone messaging. It's completely up to you. If you are struggling during a hard time right now, I think you could definitely give BetterHelp a try. Let BetterHelp connect you with a therapist from the comfort of your own home.
Visit betterhelp.com/MeganMoon for 10% off your first month.
So why do people have such a big, huge, deep respect and reverence for people who seem to have made it in society, who have all these fancy items? There was a really good video about it even just 2 weeks ago on Chishik Inside. And what that psychologist said was basically every human baby is sort of born needing to feel unconditional love. And when you're small in early childhood, if you feel that unconditional love, then it sort of fills up your heart, then you could just go on to live the rest of your life. And in Korea, there's sort of this notion where your success is your parents' success. Your failure is your parents' failure. So parents push their kids to be successful because they feel like their kids are extensions of themselves. And in doing so, unfortunately, a lot of children don't feel unconditional love. They feel like if I do what my parents want me to do, if I study, if I do this, then I'm deserving of love and respect. And even if their parents didn't say those exact words, the way that they sort of go about parenting, she said, makes people feel that way. And so one of the things that she challenged Korean parents to do was she's like, you need to more regularly express unconditional love to your kids. One thing she said was people who don't get that sort of unconditional love as kids feel like their value as people is solely based on their performance. And she said they sort of always feel some sort of void or like an emptiness. A lot of parents tend to have this mentality of if you don't do what I say, your life's going to be a failure and you're going to be ignored. So if you think about it, if I think my value comes from how well I do, then if I see someone and I think that they're not doing well and they're not successful, then what am I going to do? I'm not going to treat them very well. And so it's like this thing where I am working because I want people to value me based on what I do. But at the same time, if I see someone that's not up to par, I'm going to treat them like crap too. I have a right to treat you like crap if I'm doing better than you. And so that sort of way of upbringing, I guess, could cause you to look down on others. And that's something that I do see a lot here in Korea. And so as a result, a lot of people, in order to feel loved and respected, throw themselves into their achievements. They want to be successful. They want to make all this money. And in order to show that they've achieved enough and they've made it, a lot of people want to adorn themselves with these name brand stuff. And it kind of seems like that's one of the reasons why school bullying is so bad. Korean schools, the bullying, like the level of bullying is just like Mean Girls times 100. Like it's insane. The respect that we have for people only comes on people that we deem are worthy. So it could be something even based on appearance. Like in Korea, they value people who are very beautiful. So if you're someone who's ugly, especially in the school environment, you could be picked on or teased very badly and treated not as human because from a young age, you learn respect for other human beings by having felt as though you are respected as a human. And that's also sort of one of the reasons why people who are high ranking sort of treat the people below them like so badly sometimes. That's why there's so many cases of like workplace, abuse from the higher ups because they sort of feel like I've worked my way up here. I deserve respect. You're below me, so you don't deserve any respect. That's also why things are so competitive and people have no problem stepping on other people to get up and get somewhere because nobody wants to continue to feel, disrespected or feel subhuman for their whole life. Literally every human being, the top of everyone's list is to feel some sort of love and validation from people. And if you haven't gotten that as a kid, then I feel like out in the world, you sort of can't help but look to other people or look to having a status in order to feel respected somehow. Because a lot of people, if they feel like being super rich is out of my league, at least if I'm better than the people around me, then the people around me will show me some sort of respect. So I've heard stories of people who suddenly start doing well in their friend group, and then like people get really jealous and maybe be like, oh, now we're separate, right? And they really start hating it. But then when you fall flat on your face, they secretly like it. And it seems like a lot of people aren't truly rooting for the success of others, and a lot of people feel sort of hurt sometimes when other people are successful. And for a lot of people have a huge fear of being looked down upon in any way. Part of that has to do with the fact that they sort of learn to get their value based on what others think of them as opposed to what they think of themselves. What I think of myself is what other people think of me, is of how society sees me. I'll give you an example from my life. I've talked about it before in a video, but in Korea, baby's first birthday party is really big. There's like sort of, wedding halls in Korea. They have those, but for first birthday party. There's a buffet. They're very expensive. And the average cost at like normally cost, first birthday place is probably around $3,000. So when we were planning the baby's first birthday party, I just found a normal first birthday place and it was about $3,000 and it could fit maybe, I think like 70 or 80 people or something. So it's pretty big. The buffet looked great. My husband was like, well, how about we do it at this place? And the place that he showed me was $22,000. We didn't even spend that for the wedding. I personally don't like spending money on events. I think it's insane. That traditional wedding we actually had it at a museum, was only about $2,500 for like the base. The buffet was like $40 a person, so you tack that onto it. But anyway, so I asked him, I was like, oh, well, why do you want to spend, an extra $20,000? And he said, if we have it at this basic birthday party place, people might look down on us or like talk behind our back, like, why do they have a cheap birthday party? Like, don't they have money? And I was like, oh, who's gonna say that? And it's like, we don't know who's gonna say it, but somebody might. Well, I think if anybody that you invited to celebrate your child's first birthday party is talking behind your back because you did not spend $20,000 and you only spent $3,000, then I think that that's probably not your real friend. So I was like, I cannot. It's that important that people go to the event and say, now that's an event worthy of a company owner and a YouTuber. I mean, of course, we talked about it and I'm not here, bashing him or anything like that. But I'm just saying, like, it's that like ingrained for people to sort of fear, like, what if somebody says something? And there's sort of levels. Like in my husband's eyes, this basic birthday party place is beneath us. We have to do things that are based on our rank in society. Spend excess money so that people know that we're actually doing well. Like I said, it's just wearing the hat, right? I'm wearing the hat of a high person in society. And I think part of that is sad because I've noticed that for like a lot of things or events, the fact that I just have a relationship with these people, for example, my family wouldn't care if we just had a picnic at the park. Just the fact that we're all together celebrating the baby's birthday party is what matters. They don't care. If they came all the way from America and we just at the house had a little gathering, they would not care. And so that sort of aspect of society too, I think keeps people from forming like the deep bonds that they need, because people's always worried about other people are thinking, but people aren't actually really sharing who they are with people. And they're sort of afraid to show who they are for fear of judgment.
Judge away.
Judge, judge, judge.
It seems like they're covering up themselves with these material items in an attempt to just get people to like them. That was also one of the reasons why Squid Games was so popular. I don't know if you saw Squid Games. It's on Netflix. Just see it if you haven't. A lot of Korean people thought that it showed Korean society. You got these people who are sort of in this rat race to get this money along every step of the way. Some people die and only one person can come out on top. And a lot of people in Korea sort of feel that way about Korean society. Everybody's in a rat race to the top in order to be respected and feel good about themselves. They'll even forego their health to do that. People here, they work themselves to the bone, work all day and all night, not get any sleep. Koreans who moved to America talk about how when they moved to America, one of the first things that happened was they got so much healthier. They noticed that people in America will only work to the point where like it won't affect or impact their health. And one of the last reasons is very interesting. It was from that same Chichik Inside video. And what she said was, we know about the two different types of value. There's extrinsic value and intrinsic value. Intrinsic value is I'm doing something because it makes me feel good. She said a lot of things in Korea are based on extrinsic value. And a lot of people tend to forego doing things that make them happy, because in a lot of cases, things that they were doing that made them happy when they were small, their parents told them, don't do that, go study. So there was actually a lot of surveys that they did at elementary schools. And what they did was they asked students first, second, third grade, what do you want to be when you grow up? Oh, I want to be a doctor. Why? Because they make a lot of money. At that young age, like I remember when I was little, if you asked me what I wanted to be a vet because I like animals. Everything that everyone in my class said, I remember was based on some sort of intrinsic value. I want to do this job because I enjoy it. So here, when students and people do stuff, they do it because they want to get praise, respect, money, something. There has to be something attached with it. As you said, it's so sad because in some of the surveys, some of the students would say stuff like, yeah, I really like drawing, so I was going to do art, but that doesn't make enough money, so I'm going to be a lawyer instead. Children naturally and innately, everything is based on intrinsic value. They do things that they enjoy doing. So at that such a young age, to be like concerned about having a job because of the money it makes, that's the influence that they sort of received from their parents. Or people will kind of say that, why would you choose that career? Like, why don't you dream higher? Oh, well, I guess if I want to just be a pet groomer, then that's stupid. Maybe I shouldn't do that. So a lot of people sort of stop trusting themselves too and just sort of go along with what other people are doing, especially nowadays because social media is here. So many people in Korea just want to show the things that they have and what they're doing, and they want to get that validation and they want to keep up with the Joneses. And so I think social media is definitely not helping, especially in a place already where people sort of view and rank people based on how much money and things that they have. And when you drop social media in there and you have direct access to people who you might not have seen. Back in the day, every group of people who was sort of on equal playing field were all together, but now you can see these people who are living this crazy extravagant lifestyle, like Song Jia, with all of her knockoff items that you thought were real. And so that also drives people to want it even more because it's right in front of their face. Of course, there are other reasons that can contribute and probably have contributed to the materialism as well, but I do agree with that G-Chick Inside video saying that I think the root of everything, is just people just have voids that they're trying to fill in whatever way that they can. So they become super ambitious. They have all this stuff and they think it's going to make them happy, but unfortunately it doesn't. And that's all I have for you today. I feel like we said quite a lot of different things. But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If there are other topics and things that you want me to talk about, let me know down below, and then maybe we can talk about those topics. If you have experience with materialism or anything like that in Korea, let me know. Or if there was something that you wanted to add to why you think maybe people have become so materialistic, then let us know down below. Let's talk about it. Also, don't forget, if you are someone who would benefit from therapy, to go down below to use my link for a special discount on your first month of therapy. And if you like this video and would like to see more videos, please subscribe to my YouTube page, which is down below. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, like me on Facebook, and I will see ya.